Right, so I'm going to go through all the questions I can find of the last papers and just do them quickly as possible, okay? So you can always go back. So this is the 2022 paper. A program needs to perform the following tasks. Input two numbers from the user, compare both numbers, and output the largest. Okay, so obviously I did put a text box in, but it's disappeared. Let's move it there. So obviously just get input, enter first number. Doesn't take a genius. Try and keep no capital I, but you probably get away with that anyway. Okay, now if we're comparing things, we do if num1 is greater than num2. Okay, so I get the first number, get the second number, then I'm going to output the largest number. So if it's bigger, I'm going to print num1. Otherwise, I'm going to print num2. That is a really easy first mark. I think it's worth 4 marks. Let me just quickly go back. It's worth 5, sorry. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you don't get that, we're in big trouble. Right, I'm not going to dawdle. Let's move on to the next one. So a second program needs to perform the following task. Input a number from the user. Double the number and print the result. Repeat until the user enter a number less than 1. Right, so if it's repeating until something happens, we do a while loop. And we're going to do while true. Doesn't matter too much about that. Remember, after a colon, you should always tab in. That's how Python shows that something is part of the while loop, okay? So get a number from the user. Num equals input, enter number. Okay. It says double the number and print the result until the user enters a number less than 0. So, at this point, if the number is less than 0, we're going to run a break, and that will quit the loop. Okay, there's no need to do an else, although it would still be valid, because if we've done a break, we've already quit the loop. So everything after this is automatically an else, because if you break, you quit. Otherwise, double the number, input, and print it. Well, I'm going to go num equals num times 2. I'm doing that rather than doing print num times 2, because it says double the number and print the result, not print the number doubled. So just to make sure, there you go, print num. Oh, not print num times 2, print num. That's really easy, 5 marks there. So let's hope we get that level of question. So just remember, if it's repeat until, just make sure it's number less than. That's a nice easy one. Let's move on. I'm just going to pause it while I get the next one up. Right, so here we've got one where the program design is updated to create usernames as follows. So basically, this is the original program as a flowchart, and then they're saying they want to change it to this. So if the person is a teacher, the username is the 3 last letters of the surname, and then the first 2 letters of the first name. If it's a student, the username is the first 3 letters of the first name, and then the first 2 letters of the surname. You can read it there. So first of all, we need to input the name. So we go first name and use the same variables they have, because why not? Just going to do first name like that. Okay. And then it says surname. Notice the weird change in to forename, surname, whatever you'd think. But there we go. So I've used the exact same variable names. I mean, you might get away with not doing that, but why risk it? So now we need to know if they're a teacher or not. So teacher, I'm going to call it teacher equals input. Are you a teacher? Y/n. All right. And then we've got, now the program's going to break into 2 routes. One if they're a teacher, one if they're a student. Okay. So if teacher equals Y, like this, remember to do the tabbing after a colon so that you're indenting in, because this is part of the teacher bit. Then username equals, now what is it for a teacher? It's their last 3 letters of their surname and the first 2 letters of the, right. So it is the last 3 letters of their surname. So surname dot right 3, that will give you the last 3 letters of their surname. And the first 2 letters of their first name will be first name dot left 2. Okay, brilliant. That's that. Else, because there's no need to check if it's not a teacher, he must be a student. I'm just actually going to copy that because it's probably quite similar. And then the username is the first 3 letters of the first name. So left of first name. Let's get the first 3. And then the first 2 letters of their surname. Surname. Okay. Right, that should be right. First 3 letters, left. First 3 letters, first 2 letters. Right. And then it says output username. So just print username. Okay. Because I use the same variable name here, It just takes two routes. Did we set it up for a teacher? Did we otherwise set it up for a student? Okay, and that's that answer. Quite easy one, actually, if you know the left and right bit. But yeah, not too bad. So let's move on. 4. The program should only allow values from 0 to 300 inclusive. So you can allow a 0 to 300. I don't think I've put any text boxes on, so I'll have to do that. So if complete the following program to output invalid output that does not meet the value class. If output is less than 0 or if mins is less than 0 or mins is greater than 300, then print invalid input. That's a nice easy one. Don't put and. A number can't be less than 0 and greater than 300. That's not possible. You could do greater than equal to 301 for some bizarre reason, but I wouldn't because it doesn't actually say that it's an integer. So they could put 300.1 or something weird like that. And why would you do something weird? So there you go. Yeah, that's that one done. Next one. I mean, I know that I'm going through these quick, but you can pause to read the questions. Data for 1 week is stored in a 2D array with the identifier mins played. Okay, so it's a 2D array. Think of it as a grid. The teacher wants to output the number of minutes Dan, column index 3, played computer games on Wednesday. So it's 3, 2 because it's index 0. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. Write a line of code to output the number of minutes Stuart played computer games on Friday. Right, well, that's easy. So Stuart, so you would just copy that and go print. Mins played, and then Stuart is number 0. He's in position 0. Dan was in position 3, and Friday's position 4. So 0, 4. And there you go. That is the one for that one. Obviously, don't have capital P, but it's auto doing it. Let's double check it. 3, 2 was Wednesday. 0, 4 is Friday. And Stuart, there you go. Done. So next question. The teacher writes a program to add up the la 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 la. It's basically saying, can we do this a better way, essentially? And I'm just going to get this text box from here. And the obvious answer is yes. So we've got total equals 0. Fine. That stays the same. But now we need to add up. Now, hopefully you've noticed that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can use a for loop. So we go for I in range 5, and that will do, should be capitalizing, that will do 0 to 4. So we do total equals total plus mins played, and then 2, I, because I will be replaced by 0, and then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then, of course, print total. I don't know why they don't give you more lines for this, because you do need at least 4, really. I suppose you could put that on the same line, but it's normally not done like that. But there you go. So that's the answer to that. We replace that with a for loop to allow that a lot easier. And you can remember that for your questions. If you need anything that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, for loop. If you wanted to add up all of Stuart's there, then it would be 0, I. 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. If you wanted to add up all the Fridays, for example, which there are 4 people, we would do I in range 4, that would go 0 to 3, and then you would do, and the Friday would stay the same as always, Friday is 4, but the I would go there because that's what you're changing. I would be Stuart, nor I would be where's 1. Yeah. So, next question. A teacher wants to create, I'm just going to get another text box. I've probably got one copied actually. Yeah, a teacher wants to convert hours to minutes. Create a sub-program to perform the calculation. Right, so I need to use this over here. So basically, at the moment, you want to make a sub-program that will convert hours and minutes to minutes. Very easy sub-program. What does it want to be called? It doesn't say the name. Does it say it? No, so I'll go HM to minutes. I don't know what I'm going to call it. All right. And it will take the hours, comma, the minutes. Right. Now, this hasn't been designed yet. I'm going to design it down here. So I then use the same. Now, I'm going to call them H and M there, but make sure that's the same. Okay. So this is quite an easy one, really. I mean, converting hours to minutes. I mean, you're just gonna return. I mean, okay, I'll put total equals H times 60 plus M. hours times 60 plus minutes, and then simply return the answer. Return total. Okay, make sure these are tabbed in though, because there'd be like a colon here, just to show that they're part of the function, although it's sort of, it was tabbed in anyway, wasn't it? Because the thing's here. Just that I'm writing there and it looks confusing. But there you go. So that's basically it. We create a function called whatever we want to call it. If it says to call it something, call it that. We create a function, call it something, and then and then we use it. We make it down here, and then we're using it up here. Right, let's do the last one on the 2022 paper, and then I'll do some videos on all the papers. I'll do every single one, so you can watch them. Right. You must create this as a flowchart, right? I mean, this is bloody easy. So, I mean, like, this is so easy. Number of minutes played. I'll just call it min equals input, enter, minutes played. I mean, this is such an easy one. Right. If min, actually I won't call it min because sometimes min is used to mean minimum. So if mn greater than 120, okay, if it is, print you are under your time limit, exclamation mark. Oh, hold on, that's the no. I'm being dumb. I'll put the else there. Ready? Copy that. I always think that right is yes, so be careful of that, because I think a lot of people do that. They think right is yes and left is no. But in this case, left is yes. So if it is greater than 120, you played games for too long. You played games for too long. Exclamation mark. And that's it. What an easy... You get 4 marks, I think, for that. Wow, what an easy 4-mark question that is. I mean, that is so easy. Enter a number, if, do this, otherwise do that. I mean, that is easy. So that is every coding question in the 2022 paper. I'm going to do 2021, and I'm going to do the others if you haven't watched them. So go ahead, watch as many, because it will help you a lot in the exam.